When President Trump, for example, sort of threw around the idea of deporting Zohran Mamdani, well, Curtis Sliwa's perspective on that is that that would make him a martyr. And I would actually agree with him on that point. Not to say that that wouldn't be a bad thing. Well, it would be bad for Zohran Mamdani to be deported simply because what he said that he believes in city-led grocery stores, and he gets deported because of that, even though he's been a citizen since he's been 7 years old. So I don't think that that claim is going to actually happen, but just the fear of it, the threat of it, is enough to sort of, yes, make him into a martyr, someone that the far left is going to rise up and be like, he stands up against Trump. We need to stand with him. If not, we're not going to have anyone that stands against him. And that could very much work to motivate a lot of people to come out and vote, especially if you actually actively deport him in just the few months leading up to the election. However, I don't think that's actually the case. That's just like a question of sort of seeing, where do you believe, Sliwa? Do you believe that he should be deported? And he's not saying no, but he's not saying yes. And that's pretty much as about your most moderate Republican that you can get nowadays. But he is right in knowing that if we deport Mamdani, we would be setting an ugly precedent. There would be so much backlash, and that the Republicans, well, even Republicans would stand up and switch party if they just deport a mayoral candidate just for wanting city-led grocery stores. But of course, conservative media paints him as a communist, but he's not. And so finally, I think if you're going to criticize Mamdani, do it on the policies, which is what I've sort of tried to do. I've criticized how exactly he's going to tax some of his policies, like the city-led grocery stores, the free buses, the free childcare, how he's going to have that public safety team. I've tried to discuss even the rent freeze. So there are a lot of things that you can talk about with Mamdani, and none of it has to do with his religion or his culture or his citizenship. And so conservative media is just crazy. They're just really out of whack with what real working New Yorkers want. They seem to only be serving their really far right base, and they're not doing enough to get other people that might not be Democrat, but also don't want to hear this racist, xenophobic, Islamophobic garbage that's happening on. And so that's my opinion on all the things that's happening against Mamdani. Again, I'm not the biggest supporter of all of his policies, but I do think he has a bright vision for New York City, one that aims to actually make New York City a more affordable place to live and a better place to live. And that's something that we actually haven't seen a candidate, including Republican ones, want to actually do for our city or even our country. And that is a shout out to President Trump with the big, beautiful bill. Trump's BBL, as I like to call it.